Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Hello everyone, I am here with another episode of Architalks. So our topic for today is how to determine the total lot area of an irregular lot using the DMD method, and also we're going to make use of the calculator shortcut. So we have this example, a lot with 4 sides, a trapezoidal lot. We can compute for the DMD even without plotting the lot, but for purposes of presentation, we will try to plot the lot first. So from point 1 to point 2, we have this lot bearing south 21 degrees 6 minutes east 15 meters. So we're going to plot that. First is we locate point 1 and provide the axis at east, west, north, south, and then determine the angle. Our angle is 21 degrees 6 minutes, but we are going to convert the 6 minutes into degrees. So just divide the 6 minutes by 60 to get its equivalent degrees, 0.1. Then we add it with 21 so that we'll have a total 21.1 degrees. Our direction is south going east, so that is a counterclockwise direction for your angle, and that will be your 21.1 degrees south going east. And then we draw the line of 15 meters length going to point 2. And then for point 2 also, we draw an axis and then again determine the angle. We have 68 degrees 45 minutes, so we convert 45 minutes into degrees, so just divide it by 60 will give you 0.75 degrees. So our total degrees now will be 68.75 degrees. And then the direction is south going west, so that is a clockwise direction from the south axis going to the west axis. That is your angle of 68.75 degrees with a length of 13.21 meters going to point 3. And then at point 3 also, we're going to determine the angle of 5 degrees 40 minutes. We're going to convert 40 minutes to degrees, so that will be equivalent to 0.67 degrees. So we add it to 5. Our total degrees now is 5.67 degrees. Direction is north going east, so at the north axis going to the east axis that is a clockwise direction. You have the angle of 5.67, and that will have a length of 15.97 meters going to point 4. And then from point 4, you also draw an axis, and we have to convert again 33 minutes to degrees. So 33 divided by 60 will give you 0.55 degrees. So our total degrees now will be 61.55 degrees from north going to east direction. So that is a clockwise direction of 61.55 degrees with a length of 6.07 meters. So that closes the lot. So with this irregular lot, how do we determine the total lot area? So we can make use of the geometry method, but that will be a very long method to do. A better option is to make use of what you call the DMD method. And what is a DMD? So DMD is double meridian distance. It pertains to the sum of the meridian distances from the midpoints. If this is the midpoint of a survey line, that is the meridian distance to a reference meridian. Okay, and we sum all of this meridian distances will be your DMD. So the DMD method is basically calculating the area of this closed lot by multiplying the DMD of each score. So the DMD of this one we multiply it with the corresponding latitude and summing the result. So, which means that we are going to compute for the DMD of each course and then also determine the latitude as well. So how do we do that? First is we are going to prepare a tabulation. Okay, so we are going to add the column for latitude X and the departure Y, and then a column for DMD and a column for the double area. So first is we are going to determine the latitude and the departure, or the X and the Y. So referencing our drawing, we can compute for the latitude and the departure. But first, we have to assign the negative and the negative values. So looking at our lat bearing here, we have the south. So if that is south bearing, then our latitude will be negative. Okay, and on the other side, if your lat bearing is west here, then it means that our departure will be negative. So you have to make sure that your assignment for the negative sign is correct. So from there, referencing our drawing, we can make use of that to determine the latitude and the departure. Let us start first with point 1 to point 2. We can draw a triangle there. So if this is your angle, it means that this one will be your adjacent, and this will be your opposite, and this will be your hypotenuse. So making use of the SOHCAHTOA, we can determine the adjacent and the opposite because we have already the hypotenuse. So first is we determine the latitude X, or the X distance, the adjacent distance from that angle of 21.1 degrees, meaning our cosine is your adjacent over the hypotenuse. So cosine of 21.1 degrees will be your adjacent, which is your latitude, or X, and divide it by 15 meters. Okay, and so if we are going to determine now the value of X, it will be 15 meters times cosine of 21.1 degrees. You will arrive at a value of 13.994. So once you have that value of X, you can now put it in your table, 13.994 for latitude. And then for the departure also, we'll do the same. We can get the Y, or the departure, which is the opposite of the angle of 21.1 degrees. So we can make use of the sine. Sine angle, sine of 21.1 degrees will be your opposite, or your departure, and divide it by the hypotenuse of 15 meters. So which means that sine 21.1 is your degrees is your Y over 15 meters, your departure over 15 meters. So your Y value now therefore is 15 meters by multiplied by sine of 21.1 degrees will give you a value of 5.399, or we can round it off now to 5.4. So we can now put it in the table, and then for the rest you can do the same. For angle for point 2 to 3, we can also prepare the same triangle. This is your angle, this will be your adjacent, or your latitude, and this will be your departure Y. And then for the next point 3 to point 4, if this is your angle, this will be your adjacent, or your latitude, and this will be your departure, or your Y. And then lastly, for your point 4 to point 1, this is your angle, meaning this is your adjacent, or latitude, and this will be your departure. So that is actually the long method. We can calculate for the latitude and departure using a calculator shortcut. So you don't need to draw anymore. With only just the bearings, you can compute for the total lat area using your calculator. So this is your calculator shortcut. So if you have your calculator, the first thing that you have to do in determining the latitude and the departure is to press shift and negative. So once you press those two, you will see in your calculator screen the following: rec and open parenthesis. And then next is you input now your length, the 15 meters. So just input 15 and then comma. So comma is shift and then press this close parenthesis. So you will have 15 comma, and then the next is to input now the angle. So for the angle, you input the coordinates 21 and then press this one, which is your degrees, and then again input 6 and then again press the same button. So you will see that in your screen 21 degrees and 6 minutes, although the symbol for 6 minutes will be the same as the degrees. And next is you press the close parenthesis, okay, and then lastly is this button. You press the equals button, okay, so that will be the last step. And once you do that, the next thing that you will see in your calculator screen will be the values for the x and the y. So you have 13.994 and 5.3999. So you can now input there in your table. Although some calculators, the values that will be generated will only be the x. There is no y. So in that case, if your calculator does not produce the value for the y, you have to press additional buttons. So for example, you only see in your calculator screen the value of x, which is 13.9943. Then you have to press these two buttons, which is REL, RCL, and TAN. So once you press those two buttons, you will see now in your calculator screen the value for the x. And so you will be doing the same for the rest of 0.2 to 0.3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 1. So using your calculator, the values that you will arrive at will be like this. So for 0.2 to 0.3, it will be negative 4.788 or negative 12.312. By the way, the calculator does not show the negative sign, so you have to assign that negative sign. And then line 3-4 will give you 15.892 for your latitude and 1.577 for your departure. And then the last point, 4.4 to 0.1 will give you a latitude of x 2.892 and 5.337. Now to check whether your values for the latitude and the departure are correct, you have to sum up all these values, this one and also this one. So if you're going to sum this, it should be equal 0 or almost a 0. So let us see. We add all of these values. So the value that you will arrive at will be 0.002. The same for departure also, you will arrive at 0.002. So whether that is negative or positive, it doesn't matter as long as it is not equivalent to 1. It should be less or almost 0, very minimal value. So once you have that, the next thing that you have to do now is to determine the DMD. Our third column here to fill up is the DMD. So the DMD basically for the first one is you just copy the first value for your departure. So this is your departure, just copy it. That will be the value for your first DMD. Okay, and then our next DMD, we are going to add these three values. So we're going to add 5.4 plus 5.4 and negative 12.312. You will get the next DMD at negative 1.512. And so the next DMD also will do the same. We add the three values here. So it will be negative 12.312 minus 1.512 plus 1.577 will give you the third DMD at negative 12.247. And then our last DMD, we again add those three values. It will be 1.577 minus 12.247 plus 5.337 will give you negative 5.333. So once you have completed the DMD, we are going to fill up now the last column, which is the double area. And how do you determine the double area? As mentioned earlier, the definition of the DMD method is to multiply the DMD with the latitude. So we're going to multiply our DMD with the latitude. So our DMD of positive 5.4 multiplied by negative 13.994 will give you a negative value because positive times negative is negative. So that will be negative 75.568. And then our next double area will be for line 2, 3. It will be negative of 1.512 times negative 4.788 will give you a value of positive. So that will be 7.239. And our next one will be a negative 12.247 times positive 15.892 will give you a negative value, and that will be 194.629. And then our last line will give you a DMD of negative 5.33 multiplied by positive 2.892 will give you a negative value of negative 15.421. So we're going to sum all of this. As mentioned earlier, we have to sum the DMD multiplied by the latitude. So we're going to sum that one. All of this double area will give you a total area of negative 278.375. But that is double area. We're going to divide it by 2. Where area therefore will be negative 139.189, but we don't have an area that is negative. We are just going to convert it to its positive value. So therefore our total lot area for that lot is 139.2 square meters. So that's it for your DMD method and the calculator shortcut. You can practice doing the same for any other type of lot by just making use of your lot coordinates. So thank you, and see you again next time, and watch out for my succeeding videos.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.